Holy heckin' heck, I have so much to say about Iceland, about its environment, my own personal thoughts, and I was checking my phone the other day and I noticed that I had completely forgot to add a bunch of pictures into the last video. Whoops. So I guess this video will just be a random, scrambled amalgamation of all of these. Alright, let's get right into this, starting with how I see Iceland's sustainability. First, what does sustainability mean? I see sustainability as a meter of some kind. A sustainable environment will have the right amount and utilization of natural resources, along with people actively working on reducing their use of them and pollution. Depletion of natural resources, or too much pollution, and the environment is unable to sustain life. Iceland is a very well-balanced environment. If all the countries had a classroom where they learned how to be sustainable, Iceland would be the straight-A student, as 90% of the houses in Iceland are heated with geothermal energy, and renewable energy provides about 100% of electricity production. But Iceland wasn't always as sustainable as it is now. In fact, hot springs were originally considered evil and dangerous by the Vikings, but that's a different story. Iceland was actually one of Europe's poorest countries. It was completely dependent on fossil fuels and their CO2 emissions were spiraling high. However, some Icelanders thought to themselves, hey, we've got tons of natural and geothermal heat and a lot of waterfalls. Do you think we could use the resources to generate heat and electricity? But it was only during the 1930s that the local authorities started to look at this geothermal heating and go, guys, I think we can harness hydropower from Iceland's landscape. This led to the, should we sell our beautiful Icelandic waterfalls to foreign investors to turn into electricity period, which is a whole other debate on its own. Meanwhile, the carbon dioxide emissions in Iceland quickly died down because of new geothermal heating, power plants began generating electricity, and now almost all of the electricity produced in Iceland is green energy. So is Iceland a sustainable place? This is a hard question. I think that no place on Earth can be completely sustainable and can really sustain us humans to the fullest extent. However, Iceland is one of the most sustainable countries, with its hydroelectricity, geothermal heating, and renewable resources. If other countries follow in Iceland's footsteps, we might just be taking the next big steps towards a healthier, cleaner environment, one that can sustain us humans with renewable energy sources. Moving on to some of my random thoughts. Icelandic is such a unique, iconic language. From what I've noticed, Icelandic is quite repetitive. For example, I've recently been watching Infinity War with Sage, and during the middle of the movie, when the name Nidavellir popped up on the screen, we both poked each other whispering, that sounds Icelandic! And it was. It was from Norse mythology. I think that gives some cultural charm and identity, the language being easy to recognize. To an English speaker, the Icelandic language kind of looks like if some kid found the English alphabet and tried writing whatever they wanted. Oh gosh, I just remembered I have a whole bunch of videos and pictures about Iceland which I had completely forgot to show. Anyway, here's a random collection of them. I apologize for the terrible camera quality. The trip to Iceland was such an eye-opening experience. I never thought I would get to see the things I saw in Iceland. It was, hands down, the country with the most spectacular natural views I've ever seen. If you ever get the chance to travel to a place like this, make sure you do, as seeing the waterfalls and the beaches were so amazing to see in real life. We looked around at as many souvenir shops as we could. My highlights of the trip were all the natural landscapes in Iceland. They were super cool to look at in person. Oh yeah, and sorry about this being made so late. I actually finished this video a long time ago, but I accidentally deleted my work and had to redraw everything. Yeah, that wasn't fun. That pretty much wraps up my trip in Iceland. Thanks for watching.